Okay, so for my village quilt, I decided to do this low volume neutral beige background. So I'm gonna cut the background first. And the first cut is, what we need for the background is you're going to need 4 by 4 inch strips with the fabric. You're gonna need 132 of those. So from the cut, yeah, so let's see. So I can either, so what I've done is I can either line them up with the bottom of my mat, and I could cut at every 4th mark. So I'll just do that really quick. And this is a great time to make sure that you have your rotary cutter, new rotary cutter, new, you know what I mean? Like, just make sure you have a new blade on your rotary cutter, because you're going to be cutting a lot. And so what I'm looking at is every 4th, and I'm just cutting. And this is a great beginner quilt too. So if you're like, oh, I really, you know, I have a friend that would love it. Yeah, this is a great beginner quilt. So what I'm doing is, do you see how my hand is going along with the blade? So I'm always like, I'm lining him up, and then I'm going along with the blade. My rotary cutter goes, my hand goes, and I'm just cutting. If you're a pro, you just skip this part, okay? But I always find, like, when I'm teaching my beginning quilting classes, like, the cutting always, like, mucks them up. Like, or not mucks them up, but it's intimidating. So the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to take my pieces and I'm going to line them up. I guess I didn't push as hard as I wanted to on these ones. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to line them up now and start subcutting my 4 by 4 squares. Okay, so with your background fabric, you're going to need 132 of these 4 by 4 squares for your roofs, right? So I figured that you're going to need about 13-ish cuts right here. And I'm just gonna line them up and show you how, like, I think I'm comfortable with probably 4 on top of each other, but if you're not comfortable with cutting, I would start with 1 and then maybe upping it to 2. Okay, so the next cut for the village quilt is you're going to need 2.5-inch strips by width of fabric, and you're going to need 32 of those. So again, like the 4 by 4, I'm using the mat, or you can just use your ruler since it's such a small cut. But it's going to be more efficient because you're cutting so many of those strips. You're going the scraps that you had left over from the 2.5-inch strips, you can tackle the 2. You'll need 2 2 by 7s and then 4 1 1/3 by 7s. So those will be here. So here's 2 of them. Here's my 2 straps, and then 4 for your next ones. So I just leave that. And then the next cuts are going to be 1.5 by 7s or 20 by 1.5 by 7s, and then 1.25 by 7s. So you'll need 31 of those and 23 of those. So I still have like 5 of these left over. So